Welcome to Patty's Aquatics. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is talking about lighting, but more specifically lighting within my 75-gallon puffer tank here behind me. Now, what have I been using for lighting in this tank? I've been using a Fluval 3.0 plant light. Now, if you're familiar with these lights, these were the top-notch, top-of-the-line lights that anyone would probably, hobbyist would try to go after for many years now, but I'm not using it anymore. I'm getting rid of it. I found a different light. I found a light I like much better. Now, this light has many cool features, which I'll explain within this video, but the kicker of it is it costs less than half what that Fluval light does, and it's brighter, and I find it to be one of the best lights on the market. That's Seaoura. Seaoura's full spectrum programmable aquarium light. So stick around and let me explain why I find this light to be one of the best in the business. So this is the Seaoura programmable full spectrum aquarium light and what it looks like when it's on under the water. Now, it is brighter than bright. The plants grow like crazy. I love the color spectrum involved in it and all of its features, which I'll explain in a little bit. But why do I consider Seaoura to be one of the best in the business when it comes to lighting? Well, that's because I've got two other lights from them in the past. And by testing them and using them, my plant growth has been insane with them. And they're one of the brightest lights that I've had the opportunity to be able to use. So that being said, I've also been dealing with nothing but algae issues within this aquarium, and hair algae and cyanobacteria. Now, I don't know if I can necessarily pinpoint it on that Fluval light, but I have never had those issues in any of my other dirty tanks. So I wanted to try a different light. Now, I'm not bashing Fluval. Fluval makes great innovative products, but you pay for that name. If you want to get a Fluval 3.0 plant light to fit this 75-gallon tank, you're going to spend well over $200. This Seaoura plant light for the 40-inch model is only $63.99 on Amazon, which I will include that link in the description of the video. That's amazing. That price cost is well less than half of what that Fluval is. It's brighter than the Fluval light, and the plant growth so far in those other tanks have been amazing, and I need to try it. And so again, that's why I want to try this light on here, and I'm getting rid of Fluval. Now you might be saying, well, Patty, you get this light for free. Who's to say you're just saying that because you want to get more free lights? I get it, but that's not the case. I really, really like Seaoura lights. I've had nothing but good luck with the other two, and the plant growth, like I said, is just absolutely amazing. So I stand behind their product thus far, and everything I've seen so far proves to me that it's one of the best lights, not only for price point, but plant growth and also the brightness. But that being said, let's take a closer look at the light and the controller, and let me explain some of the really cool features it has as well. So the build of this light is like most nowadays. It's made of an alloy, which is durable, sturdy, and most importantly, reliable. It's not going to break on you very easily at all. The controller itself is very easy to use and operate, which I'll show in a little bit. But what are the features of this light? Well, it's got a 24/7 timer mode. It also has a 24/7 light cycle mode and a very cool DIY color mode where you can select whatever intensity of all the different colors it has on this light and create your own. Now, one of the other coolest features on here, which I haven't seen very often on a light, it has a built-in temperature alarm. If you see that probe in the water there, that detects the water temperature of your aquarium on that controller, and you can set an alarm for it for highs and lows. So if your water temperature drops below or goes above what you set, it will alarm to detect you of your water temperature. I think that is a very cool feature with it, and I'll explain a little bit more with that. So that being said, let's take a closer look at this controller and let me show you a little closer look at what these features actually are and how you do it. So let's go over this controller briefly and show you how some of this works. If you're going to manually turn it on and off, this is the power button here. A long press will turn it off. A short press will turn it on. A short press will also cycle you through the different colors. If you can see here, these different letters, white, red, blue and green. You can change the intensities with all those too, with the plus and minuses here. And then you're also going to want to set your local time. That's going to be very important when it comes to the different timer modes. And by doing that, it'll be the OK and time button up here. You'll be able to cycle through with the plus and minuses to set what your local time is. And then you want to go into this 24/7 mode by hitting that button. Now there's two different modes within here. There's the S1, which is the timer mode. Now how does that work? You're basically setting a start time and a stop time that you want your lights to come on and off with. And in turn, you also will put the intensity that you want it to start with and that you want it to end with lighting. Now, typical other lights are, their timer modes are, you have a 4-hour, 6-hour, and so on period time that you want to set it. And those you have to actually be there at that time to actually set it initially. Like say you want your lights to go on at 10:30, you'd actually have to set it at 10:30 exactly to be able to set it to have those times. Where this one, it's just like an app on your phone. You can manually put in there what time you want it to start and what time you want it to stop and all the different intensities of lights from start to stop. And I think that's a pretty cool feature, and it saves a little bit of extra space on your phones. Now the other one is the S2, which is the actual 24/7 lighting cycle that gives you dusk to dawn. And it has 5 different lighting periods available to you to be able to set from your light to increment to go up and to go down. And by doing that as well, you cycle through that all and you can set that all up, and it's a very cool feature. Now another feature on here is also a DIY lighting mode. You hold the plus and minus together, it'll get you in there. And then you can go from every single color and change the intensity to make whatever creative color that you would like. Now, the other feature on here, like I mentioned, is that temperature gauge. I think that is very cool. By hitting this button here, it brings you into it. Now, it tells you what the temperature is. Now, by holding that button down, you can set a temperature range, an alarm for you. You can go from the high temperature here. If it goes over 86, how I have it set, it'll start to alarm for you. Then they want you to set a low temperature. So if it goes below whatever temperature you set, it will alarm and notify you that the temperature of your water is above or below what you set it at, which is a very cool and very beneficial feature to have on a light to be able to help you save any inhabitants within your aquarium if you would have a heater failure. So that's those cool features. What else? What else do they do? They also give you the ability for this light to be able to save its memory. Now, a lot of lights, including this one, if the power would be turned off, you're going to lose everything you programmed in here, including local time and any settings you had. But what Seaoura does, which I find to be very cool, they have a battery backup in it, and they give you 2 free batteries with every light. You pop in one of those batteries in there, and if the power goes off, it saves everything within here. Now, I can demonstrate that right now. So as you can see, the power is on, and I'm going to turn it off. Power is off. We'll give it a second or two. Power it back on. And it has all the settings saved how I initially had, which is going to be a lifesaver. If you accidentally hit that power button and unplug it or whatever happens, the power goes off briefly, you're not going to lose all of that. And I find that to be very cool. Another cool feature is it has a power saving mode for this screen. So from 7 a.m. until 10 o'clock at night, it'll stay at 100% like this. But from 10 o'clock to 11:30 at night, it dips down to 20% intensity. And then from 11:30 till 7 a.m. again, it turns completely off. So if you go on here to use it within those times, it'll power back up to that 100% for 10 minutes, and then it dips back down to what it was, either off or that 20%, which is another cool power saving feature, which I like a lot with Seaoura. So those were the features of the Seaoura programmable aquarium light and why I think it's one of the best in the business. Now, it doesn't even have to be just this light in general. Seaoura itself, I find to be one of the best lights in the business, as my experiences so far. I think their lights help your plants grow tremendously. They're bright, extra bright, and those colors, well, they make this guy pop out even more, which is cool. Now, again, I'm not bashing Fluval. I think Fluval is one of the better companies in the business, but the problem is when you have a bigger company like that, like many others, you pay for the name, and that's the problem. Like I said, this light I can get for $63.99, or that Fluval plant light, you're spending well over $200. So to have the ability to save well over $100 for a light that's going to be brighter and do just as well, it's a win-win situation in my opinion. So again, the other situation, like I said, is the algae problems I've been having in this tank. I've been having nothing but issues with string algae and cyanobacteria for the last few months. I blacked out the tank and I put this light on here now for a little over almost 2 weeks, and I'm hoping that this is really going to boost those plants to grow big time and eliminate that algae for good. Again, I'm not pinning that algae on Fluval because there are many scenarios which could be causing it, but it's one of the factors I wanted to try to eliminate. So I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you really like this light. I will link the light Amazon link in the description of this video. I also will link Seaoura's website in the description of this video, and go check them out. Like I said, they have some of the best lights in the industry in my opinion, and I really think you should give them a try, because for the price that they cost for them, it's a heck of a lot better than spending over 200 bucks, that's for sure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. And then as always, remember to think outside that box and take a step back into nature. Hope to see you next time here at Patty's Aquatics.